Hello everybody, I am here to give you the NXT highlights for July 15th, 2025. This is the episode after the Great American Bash pay-per-view. Fatal Influence make their entrance and Jacy Jayne, the NXT Women's Champion, gets on the mic. She sounds a little froggy and apologized for it, explaining that Jordynne Grace elbowed her in the throat at the Great American Bash. Things didn't go her way because certain members of Fatal Influence dropped the ball. She knows Jasmine Nix tried her best, but sometimes your best isn't good enough. But she and Fallon Henry made up for it by helping her retain her WWE Women's Championship at Evolution. Henley says Jacy is going to be champion for a very, very long time, and Jayne said she's going to continue doing things no one thought she could, and things that no one has ever done before, like at the TNA pay-per-view this weekend. She's going title for title with TNA Knockouts champion Masha Slamovich, and she's going to walk out of New York with both championships. Enter Slamovich. She walks to the ring and says the only reason Jacy is NXT champion is because Blake Monroe smashed Jordynne Grace's back with the NXT championship. At Evolution, it took 4 women to keep the title on Jayne's belt. So she's gonna shock the world and be the first ever TNA wrestler to hold the NXT Women's Championship. Jacy says she's gonna win. Enter Ruca, flanked by Zaria. She takes issue to the notion of Jayne being the only one with 2 titles, when she has both the NXT Women's North American Championship and the WWE Women's Speed Championship. And if she was going to put money on anyone on Saturday, it'd be Slamovich. Zaria calls Soul the MVP of the weekend with 3 matches back to back. The 6 of them all end up squared up in the ring, and a brawl breaks out with the good girls standing tall. Next we have Dark State. Dion Lewis, Ostrich Griffin, and Saquon Sugars versus Joe Hendry, Mike Santana, and the TNA champ, Trick Williams. Chaotic brawling to start, settling down. Williams blasts Sugars with a knee, but ends up laid out. Santana on the wrong side of town. Langenix catches him with a waistlock takedown, grinding him down. A elbow to the neck, tag to Griffins. Cut him off, double whip. A boot takes Sugars off the apron. A double ace crusher takes the other 2 out, and the path is clear. Tag to Hendry. A snap float over DDT on interest. A follow-up slam. A kip up. Saquon attacks from behind but gets caught with a follow-away slam himself. A kip up. Snap Zoom. Turn smile. A fireman's carry slam for the pin. 1, 2. The rest of Dark State breaks it up. Hendry and Santana stand tall together. Trick berates him over something and they deck him. Mike and Joe with stereo dives. The lights go out in the system. Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards, and JDC is here. They hit the ring and attack Dark State. That forced a disqualification, and Dark State wins. The system run Dark State off and stand tall. Next we have Kaylee Armstrong versus Carmen Petro for the WWE Evolve Women's Championship. Armstrong immediately takes Petro down. Carmen returns the favor, a sliding kick, short arm kicks, a crescent kick, whipped reverse soul butt. Callie with a big right hand off the ropes, a big scoop power slam from the champ. Jordynne Grace is here, and she pulls Armstrong out of the ring for disqualification. Callie Armstrong wins by disqualification. Post-match, Grace slams Carmen Petro for good measure and gets on the mic and calls on Blake Monroe to come down and explain herself right now. Robert Stone and Stevie Hunter come down to explain she's not here, but we get a video on the Tron explaining that Monroe despises everything about Jordynne. She extends an invitation to Jordynne next week when Monroe has her debut match. Backstage, we have Trick Williams rolling up to some of the LFG folks and tells them when your TNA World Champion says move, you move, and if anybody's feeling froggy, they can jump. A bearded gentleman steps up and Williams tells them to go ask The Undertaker for permission and stop fooling around. The Undertaker calls on the phone and he answers as we cut away and go to break. Next we have Channing Stacks Lorenzo versus Luca Crusifino versus Tony DAngelo and Family Business triple threat match. DAngelo stoic in the corner, Lorenzo the first to attack him. He and Crusifino each have an arm, but Tony fights back, elbows for both of them, Superman punches. He hooks Luca and drops him with a spine buster into some mounted punches. A arm wringer, duck lariat, a big shoulder block from the Don. Whipped reversed, Crusifino passes him to the floor, a big back elbow to Stacks. DAngelo pulls him out and Luca wipes them both out with a low dive. Channing back in first, he blasts Luca into Tony and stands tall. Lorenzo mounted punches on the Don. DAngelo recovers and chucks Channing clear over the ropes and crashing into Crusifino on the floor. Lariat from Luca too. Tony pulls Stacks out from under the ring and the crowbar comes with him. Lorenzo throws him into the steel steps. Back inside, a running knee to the back of the neck for a 1-2 kick out. Tony recovers. Big double German suplex with both of his opponents stacked up. 1-2 kick out. Up in the turnbuckles, Luca completes a Tower of Doom. DAngelo charges corner to corner. Stack gets a boot up on him, but he powerbombs the underboss into the turnbuckles. Crusifino with a boot, whipped in the corner, a flare flip, springboard double lariat. Luca with a codebreaker brainbuster over the knee. 1, 2, so close to 3, but kicks out. A shatter machine on the Don. Stacks chucks Crusifino, but the delay makes sure Tony D can kick out. Crusifino pulls him away from the crowbar, grabs it himself. Channing begs off and rams Luca into the ring posts. He grabs the crowbar, big swing. Crusifino ducks, and Tony DAngelo spears Stacks through a wall that they had set up. A headbutt to Luca and then a spine buster through the announce table. Tony gets into the ring and hits a thrust spinebuster on Channing Stacks Lorenzo and pins him. 1, 2, 3. And your winner of the match is Tony DAngelo. Josh Briggs is in the ring and says on Saturday he watched an opportunity of a lifetime get squandered, and he did everything he could to make sure his friend left with the NXT Championship. But he didn't want to win as bad as Josh wanted him to win. But that's not why he's mad. He's mad because Amora has been here less than a year and has already got a title match, while Briggs has been here for 4 years and hasn't even sniffed a title match. Amora is too nice, and this is a cutthroat business. You take any shot you are giving. And Obafemi hits the ring. He tells Josh that Saturday wasn't supposed to be about him, but he was present and he caused some trouble. But whether he was there or not, the ruler was always going to come out on top. But because of Briggs' involvement, he ruined the match, and people are now questioning the type of match, like whether it was clean or not, the result. Josh says he saw Amora getting dragged under, and he's being pushed to his limit every week, and he's about to break. He knows now that Yokoshi is a man of honor, but he for damn sure isn't. Amora comes out and says Briggs doesn't speak for him and asks what he thinks he's doing. Oba says Yosuke deserves another match, but Josh doesn't deserve anything. Briggs says that just because Femi knows Amora won't do what it takes, Yosuke tells him to be quiet. He's his own man and will do it what it takes to win, but he'll do it with honor, his way. Josh says since he's so confident, why don't we have a triple threat next week? Amora agrees. Oba asks if this is what Briggs wants, and Josh throws the first punch, so a brawl breaks out, and they get pulled apart. Next we have Ricky Saints getting interviewed, and he's here to show up and show out. Even though All Ego Ethan Page retained his title, his focus is on Jasper Troy. And pretty soon, him and Jasper Troy are gonna have a match. Next week we have Blake Monroe versus Wynn Sinclair. We also have a triple threat match for the NXT Men's Championship. We have Obafemi versus Josh Briggs versus Yoshi Amora. We also have Ricky Saints versus Jasper Troy. And we have The Undertaker coming to confront the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Trick Williams. An action-packed NXT next week. Don't miss it. And last but not least, Fatal Influence, Fallon Henry, JC Jane, and Jasmine Nix versus Masha, Slamovich, Ruca, and Zaria. Lexus King is shown in the crowd wearing hearing protection for some reason. Zaria and Hensley to start. A big shove. Fallon breaks her grip, stomps on her foot, but gets freight trained and taken into the corner. A tag to Ruca, diving double axe handle, a arm wringer wrenching it in. A code breaker tap to Slamovich. She snap mirrors, a buzzsaw roundhouse to the spine, and a cover for 1, 2, kick out. A tag to Nix. Quick near fall. Masha cuts her off. A boot from the apron, off the ropes, and a big lariat, but Jane tags in and takes control, pie facing her. telling her she's not on her level. Slamovich with a back fist and a kick, charging in. A backsplash tag to Zaria. Quick tags. Ruca drops her with a spinning back suplex facebuster and surfs on her until Jasmine charges in. Soul slams Jasmine on top of JC for a near fall. Ruca shakes Jane off with a backpack stunner and both women are down and out. Tags made. Zaria in on Nyx, dropping her with lariats. A pump kick from Henley. Back suplex from Jasmine. German on Fallon. Fired up. A match breaking down. Zaria with boots up, diving double lariat, and a tag to Slamovich. Big lariats from the TNA Knockouts champion. A kick and a hip attack. Rising knee, big boot in the corner. Jane shoves her off, but Masha blasts her with a spinning wheel kick for a 2. A double flapjack on Slamovich. JC back in. Running knee. Zaria breaks it up. A tag to Ruca. A standing surfboard stomp. Nyx kicks her down. Zaria spears her. Cannonball to the floor as the calling come to ringside. Hank and Tank equalize the men of the calling, and that doesn't take any effect in the match. Soul and Zaria brawl over to the back. Masha is left alone but nails JC with a crescent kick brainbuster. Masha wins the match with a brainbuster and pins the NXT Women's Champion JC Jane. And that is how NXT ends, with Masha getting the best of JC in this triple threat tag team match. Let me know what you think of this NXT show. I give it about a 6 out of 10. Sorry, I'm feeling a little under the weather. I hope you can't hear it in my voice. Take care, everybody. Until next time, whether you can see me or not. Peace.